Wario's never really been that much of a prominent Nintendo character outside of games like Smash Bros., Mario Kart, and Mario Party. He's always been this fat, garlic-eating slob that's just one of Mario's side pieces, just to fill up a roster of characters. Outside of a game series like Wario Land, what's he do? Like, Mario runs the main series, Luigi's got a nice little thing going on with his ghost-busting service, and Waluigi's an entrepreneur and runs his own taco stand. What does Wario do? Wario's been running WarioWare, Incorporated. Trademark. Registered trademark. You got it. WarioWare is both a spin-off series and a main series at the same time. It's in a weird place. This is probably one of the weirdest, unorthodox Nintendo games that you'll play, but you can't stop playing. Imagine a game that's just full of games, and that's this game. Kinda like one of those Russian dolls that just keeps opening and opening until you get to how does this game work, how does it do, and what do it be? Essentially, it can be broken down into what's called micro-games. There actually is no game here. Micro-games are smaller than mini-games. How's that work? A micro-game is like a mini-game inside of a mini-game. So you go into a mini-game to then play a series of micro-games. I'm sure after the amount of times I've said this already, you get the title of the video. Like mini, mega, micro. Please help, I wrote 6 pages of this. Different from a mini-game, a micro-game will just throw you straight into the action and have a simple input string like the A button or the control stick. So for a concept so simple, how can this be so fun and complex? Shit gets crazy. This game is pure tempo and adrenaline rush. WarioWare is kinda like Rhythm Heaven. Oh wow, it's actually the same guy. In terms of tempo, speed, and keeping up your rhythm. As you progress through many of these games, the overall tempo of whatever mode you're playing will increase. This is when it becomes fun. It eventually gets so fast that you pretty much can't keep up, and crumble like the little cookie you are. This is part of the reason this game gets so intense and insane. Play this with 3 other friends, and you'll be shouting harder than when he stole your star in Mario Party. WarioWare's got a lot of surprising character to it too. It's real hyperactive and random, but it still keeps it short and simple. Take it at face value and just try not to think about it too hard. You've got a whole cast of characters that actually do matter because of the lore behind WarioWare. What makes each one important is that their personalities and traits actually lead into what microgames you're going to be playing. You start off with Wario, who introduces you to the game and what it brings. Then, the boy, Jimmy, gives you sports. Then, the dynamic duo, Dribble and Spitz, who enjoy some science fiction. Next is Mona, who's just a strange high school girl. 9volt, the Nintendo fanatic. Then Orbulon with his high IQ and logical thinking. Onto the scientist, Dr. Krygor, and his hyper-realistic practice. Kat and Anna for their love of nature and animals. Then back to Wario to give you a challenge of everyone's games in his, own image. Each character will have a pretty substantial set of microgames, and then a boss challenge at the end. Plus, each microgame has a progressively harder difficulty to it too, which adds to the hecticness of the entire game. So for a game that pretty much isn't a game at all, what do? You've got single player, and you've got multiplayer. But this is made as a pure party game. Single player really isn't that much to talk about. It's just a simple completion mode with rapid progression of each of the aforementioned characters' games. Once you complete the main stage clear mode, you move on to the super mega ultra hard ultra mega deluxe mode, which is really just hard survival. So let's move on to that good stuff, the multiplayer. Now that I've broken down the game, the characters, and how everything works, let's get into the real game. The party modes are the reason you should be playing WarioWare. You can play them with up to 4 people. I'm gonna use 2 just to demonstrate. My partner alongside will be Fwim. Yeah, Fwim. We're gonna go with that. There's 8 main different game modes to play here, and I'm gonna go through them all. Grab that popcorn. We start off with Jimmy with Survival Fever. This mode is based off of having your characters dance as the tempo increases with each passing turn. To break it down simply, you've got to dance longer than your friends. What that means is to survive as long as possible with 4 lives each, and each microgame you lose will give you less of a crowd. Last person with a crowd wins the game. As the game goes on, the dance tempo gets faster and faster, putting more pressure onto precision and completion of whatever game is thrown at you. This is a pretty simple one that'll get you going fast. Really, I mean you'll start going fast. Please stop. On to Krygor's Balloon Bang. This is another survival game, but with a twist. How much do you hate your friends? That's the twist. Balloon Bang is like a game of hide the firecracker. Do people actually do that? What you've got to do is take turns on controlling the screen. Either complete a micro game or fail it. What's going to happen in the meantime is that a balloon on the top of the screen will begin to inflate due to your friends pumping it up as you play. When the balloon reaches full capacity, the world just explodes. That's it. Bye. The person who's currently in control loses the game while everyone pops that champagne up top. The trick of this is trying to figure out the strategy of choosing to pump the balloon or not, complete a game or fail it to stall time. It's a big mind game that can really get that heart pumping up top. Now for Cards. Cards. The card game. This was yet another GameCube reference to the failed e-reader attachment for the GameCube. Rest in pieces. I don't know anyone who used it. You take turns choosing between two piles of cards, each holding a micro game. Eventually the cards stack up, and then suddenly... Oh my god, so many cards! Minigame time! You have to complete all of the micro games to earn your keep. Lose, and everything you own disappears into the void that we call the discard pile. The player with the most cards wins. However, if you screw it up at the very end, everyone has a chance to earn back what's in the discard pile into their own. So if that thing is stacked up, oh my god. While your friends try to complete their game cards, you can mess with them by shaking the screen or stealing other players' cards that they've earned, which can actually help quite a lot. So all you've got to do is not mess up at all. Ever. It's that easy. Get out of the way is the next game. You like that little segue there? Me either. Out of my way is exactly what it implies.
Get the fuck out of my way!
Your friends will have presence over the screen while another player tries to complete micro games. Whoever gets the most games completed at the end of the turns wins the game. In this mode, it can actually matter what character you pick. Fat guys are meta. Fat guys are meta. Fat guys are meta. Smaller characters move faster but cover less of the screen. Big boys, like Wario, cover it all. You can also jump and shake the screen, but it typically doesn't do much. Doing this mode with 4 players will probably end up in a black eye and a long amount of silence. Next, we've got what I like to call the turtle game. I'm a simple man. I see turtle, I see game. It's turtle game. This one is easily my favorite mode and is the one I've gotten the most 4-player fun out of. It works in a series of 4-player challenges that can only have one winner. The winner then has to complete a micro game in order to either give all of the players a turtle or get one themselves if they lose. This process repeats over time with different competitive games and different micro games. As time goes on, the turtles you get will stack up. In between matches, you have to balance your player in order to stay alive, and the amount of turtles you have equals the amount of danger you have. You get to become your own Ninja Turtle OC if you lose. So just think about it, because you may want to lose. I don't know what you do, man. Now to become a true in Milkyway Delirium. Out of all of the minigames on here, this is probably the most competitive one because of the amount of thinking and strategy that goes into it. You start out with an empty board, and from there, it's like an advanced match of tic-tac-toe and bingo. You choose a space with a number on it, and that's how many micro games you have to complete in succession in order to earn that space. Crossing paths with another player's taken space will then let you take over that space and anything in between. So, what spaces will you take in order to screw your friends? What will they take to undo everything that you just did? At the very end of having all the spaces get taken, the loser spaces will remain on the screen, while the winner has to complete a micro game. You get to block them from winning. Block them from winning. Even if you lose, you still have a chance to win. It all comes down to where your spaces end up. This is where the big strategy factor comes in for this game. And when 4 people are playing this at once, it gets insane. My suggestion is conspiring with your other friends, just like that one friend owns all of the Monopoly spaces and you don't want to flip the board just yet. Since we're getting close to finishing talking about all the games on here, let's take a word from our sponsor.
When I left the future to warn Goku about the threat of the androids, I left with 3 things. A goal, a sword, and a case of Heat-Tap. Heat-Tap gives you all the vitamins and nutrients that you need to keep yourself in the fight. Want to fight Cell? Heat-Tap. Want to kill the androids? Heat-Tap. Want to fight Goku? Don't. Heat-Tap. It's good. Drink it.
Mona's Listen to the Doctor has the most potential to be the best game on here. The way you play this is completely up to you. It boils down to a game of Simon Says. Do as the doctor orders. Ignore the doctor and run away quickly. Do as the doctor orders while completing a micro game. The people in the waiting room then applaud you for your points on your performance. What makes this so good is how creative you are. Imagine pretty much creating your own game out of this game. Say, instead of listening to the doctor, you put ideas in a hat, because what he tells you to do is pretty tame and lackluster. Instead, how about you tell your friends to while playing the micro game? This game is what you make of it, and that's why it's special. The possibilities of what you can transform this game into with your friends is why it has the most potential to be the best game on this list. I could go on about this for hours about stuff you can do with this game, but I'm gonna leave this up to you because I have no friends. The final major game is All for One. This is probably the only true teamwork-oriented game on this list. You give control of the microgames to one player only, while the rest of the players have to help them. Or I guess screw them over if that's just the type of person you are. The point of the game is that the player who's playing isn't able to see the games, and he needs help from the others. You have 4 lives total, and you've got to survive as long as possible as the tempo speeds up, and you have to find the solution to each game. So the true key to winning is how much do you trust your friends? Are they reliable? Are you reliable as the player? Is this some deep metaphor of life and deep thought of the culmination of your life choices? So that's all the main games. Should be pretty fun with your friends and give you a good amount of weeks into some party play. But what about all these tiny doors in the corners? These are just some small mini games like Jump Forever, where you have 4 people jump rope at the same time, just to see how long you can go. Then you can do the same thing but with one controller and pass it around the room. Or you can even race paper planes, which can be fun if you aren't trying to control 2 players by yourself with 2 different controllers. Please help me. That's WarioWare on the GameCube. Have you ever played this game? Tell me about your experiences down below, because I've heard some crazy stuff. I want to thank you for watching, and if you want to do more, I've got weekly streams on the channel, Twitter, and Discord in the description. I love you guys. I'll see you later.